change has never been more crucial. In fact, the global tech market is projected to reach $22.5 billion by 2025, underscoring the rapid growth and the transformative potential of ad tech innovations in tackling our present global challenges. This innovation challenge aims to spotlight those entrepreneurs who are not just envisioning a better future, but actively building it by creating sustainable and equitable food systems for all. This year, we received over 460 applications from 53 countries, so let's give an applause for that. And over the next 2 hours, you will meet the 8 finalists of this challenge who have been selected for their potential for tech-driven positive impact, production innovation, and market fit across 4 award categories: digital innovation in food processing, empowering women in agri-tech food systems, food loss, and aligning with this year's World Food theme is the good food for all for today and tomorrow. The innovation you'll see today has the potential to really transform how we produce, distribute, and consume food. During the judges' deliberation break, we will be joined by a distinguished venture capitalist and last year's winner of the Startup Innovation Awards in Better Environment, and they will share insights on how deep tech innovation contribute to sustainable food systems. And at the conclusion of the program, we will announce the 4 award winners along with the winner of the Startup Innovation of the Year. And I would like to just pause here and take a moment to thank our sponsors. Many of them are in the audience today. ADM, Kilburn and Strode, Smart Sensors for Agri-Food in collaboration with High Five, Next Tech Food Factories, and Ching Forward Engineering, and the UN Industrial Development Organization UNIDO Innovation Lab. And a special acknowledgement to Kilburn and Strode for their insightful masterclass on intellectual property rights for our participating startups this year, and all the mentors who dedicated their time and expertise to help our finalists today to prepare for their pitches. And now, please join me in welcoming Ms. Victoria Slickoff, the Executive Managing Director of Extreme Tech Challenge and the Head of Ecosystem of Walden Catalyst Ventures, to share a few words. Oh, there's me.
Well, hello. It's wonderful to be back in Rome, and it's a pleasure to be here co-hosting and for the 2024 World Food Forum Startup Innovation Challenge supported by Extreme Tech Challenge. I think today is about the celebration of youth action, innovation, and entrepreneurship as we support and accelerate and ignite innovations and youth passions and going forward to address our agri-food systems. I want to recognize that this is our 4th year holding such an award, and it's been so enriching and so personally heartwarming to see that the platform has grown to reach more innovators and more entrepreneurs, mobilizing the action globally. And I think it's important to provide a platform where we can be the connective tissue to bring different stakeholders together, like government, corporations, venture capitalists, startups, and so forth. First of all, I want to recognize and extend my deep appreciation to FAO Deputy Director General Beth Bechtel for your leadership and for being such a wonderful champion for this initiative. It's been a pleasure working with you. And I also want to recognize the great work of colleagues from FAO, from Youth Action Network, and from my colleagues from Extreme Tech Challenge. As I know, countless hours have gone through and behind the scenes and putting this wonderful program together. So let's put our hands together to appreciate the working teams. So as I look in the audience and see the enthusiasm, the passion, and the dedication of youth and youth entrepreneurs, I think about my own career development. So perhaps I want to share some of my own learnings, and maybe you'll find them to be helpful as you have a long career ahead, whether it is starting your own company or it is being an innovator, entrepreneurship, and being corporates. So first of all, I think it's all about pursuing your own passion, but also marry that with things that you're good at so that you can really create long-term happiness and career fulfillment. I don't have that many, so let's go through. Oh, the next one is really important. Do good work and hone your skills. Build your reputation on delivering good work, because ultimately that's going to carry you forward to future opportunities. Next is set ambitious goals, but also check in periodically to see if they're still aligned with what you want. And it's okay to pivot. That means to change course. Next is try new things, try to experiment and set big goals, and you'll make mistakes and fail, but don't let those mistakes define you, because it is through those failures that you learn and be better. Build relationships is like dancing. It needs to be a two-way street. So constantly reevaluate where you're investing your time and your effort. And then I want to end on this note, is that always believe in yourselves. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. Every time you fail, you're just one step away from being a success. So know that you're enough. Thank you so much, and let's have fun today.
Thank you, Victoria. Now it is my distinct honor to introduce the Deputy Director General of the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations and the co-chair of today's jury, Ms. Beth Bechtel.
Thanks very much, Nancy. That's a really big picture of me there. It's a little overwhelming. It's really nice to be with all of you again. And I do want to thank our World Food Forum Youth Innovation Lab team for providing what is becoming, I think, a very reliable, a very dependable platform for groundbreaking innovations. The lab and the team, and I think all of the colleagues and our partners here, are bringing together the next generation of entrepreneurs, the next generation of innovators. And these are the people, these are the creators who are bringing solutions, discovering them, commercializing them, delivering them to really provide those, again, solutions to the most pressing of challenges that we know are critical, we know are urgent, and we know that are shaping the future of our agri-food systems. And I think it's also very safe to say that innovation is no longer an option in anything that we do. It is a necessity, whether it's technological innovation, social innovation, policy innovation, financial innovation. These are all priorities that I think we collectively have to advance. And before we really jump in, I would be remiss, Victoria, if I didn't thank you in reciprocal form and fashion. The Extreme Tech Challenge, XTC, has been a tremendous partner with us. I will say you've also been patient with us. This is some new territory for FAO, leaning in on private sector, leaning in on entrepreneurship, leaning in on innovation, and you have been tremendously great partner and great friend throughout all of this. We have partnered, as Victoria said, over the last 4 years, and I see each and every year we bring an, again, incredible community of entrepreneurs, over 450. Nancy said, I love the fact that we're covering entrepreneurs from so many different regions, and we're adding more sponsors and more partners each time. That's really important. So thank you to everyone for your continuous support and for being here with us. Today, we are essentially gathering to recognize and applaud the exceptional talent, the creativity, and the entrepreneurial spirit of startups. and entrepreneurs. And I can say on my part, and I think on the parts of the other judges, we are really excited to hear and see the presentations from these 8 finalists. These awards envision the future that I think we all are striving to achieve, the future that we want and the future for generations to come. And I would just again reiterate that FAO is fully committed to doing everything we can to foster this kind of environment, this space where innovations like these can thrive. And we know that that takes collaboration, new ways of working together. We have to break out of our traditional habits. We have to try new things. We have to stretch ourselves, and we have to find ways to bring startups, governments, research institutions, the private sector. All of this is essential if we're going to really scale up these types of solutions that the presentations will provide today. So I won't name all the names, but I really want to say that it is incredibly, on our part, we're very gracious, very grateful for all of this year's sponsors. I know the team at Kilburn and Strode have been with us for at least a year or more, but to see others, ADM, UNIDO, and others come to the table is really encouraging for us. And we know that in some ways you're trying a new thing alongside us, but we really appreciate all of your support. So with this, I would just say, Nancy, thank you so much for bringing us all together. This is an opportunity for us to, I think, really accelerate the needed innovation if we really are going to create a better food future for all. And on behalf of all of us at FAO, we are committed to working in every way possible to support not only these entrepreneurs, but also you as stakeholders, as interested partners and individuals who are ready to lift them up and to help them be incredibly successful in the work that they're doing. So with that, Nancy, I think I will turn back over to you. Thanks.
Thank you, Beth.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Beth. And now let's meet our jury members. Joining us from UNIDO, please welcome Mr. Gunther Bager, the Director of the Doctorate for SDG Innovation and Economic Transformation.
Thank you so much. First of all, I would like to thank Beth and FAO for inviting me to be one of the members of the jury. Of course, you mentioned we need collaboration, and I think collaboration between UNIDO and FAO is a very good example how we can work together as UN organization, and it's absolutely necessary. And the slogan of UNIDO is progress by innovation. So I think it's perhaps not the worst decision to invite us to the jury, because of course, if we want to deal with all the problems and questions we heard today during the opening sessions, we have of course to trust in innovation and to support all young entrepreneurs, women, men, enterprises in our partner countries. And so I had a first look through the candidates, and I think there are very, very interesting companies. And I'm very proud once more and happy to be part of this jury. Agriculture is not so far away from my business, because I already studied agriculture and my first job was on a farm, Beth. So I know a little bit. It was a typical German smallholder farm. So I also know to make cows and other things. So I'm very, very, very grateful once more and interested in the solutions we will get today. Thank you so much once more, and back to you.
Thank you. Our next judge represents the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations. Please welcome Mr. David Labor, Director of the Agri-Food Economics and Policy Division.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be with you today. I think that this session is really in the embodiment of the forum because we are going to talk about youth, we are going to talk about innovation, and we are going to talk about investment. And I think that really is a solution to a lot of the problem we have. So me, I'm an economist, but I work on a farm also when I was young, and I think it's very important. So not so much on livestock, but on crops, on apple, a lot of things like that. But in my field, I was also tagged as an entrepreneur economist. We all face problems. We all have to do innovation to be disruptive, because also we face new challenges. So, of course, you are going to change the old world to create a new one, but that's critical. And as it has been said, you know, the more you try, the more you fail, but the more you fail, the more you succeed. And that's what is important. So, of course, we will have some winners today, but we will have also some, I will not call them losers, but people that will be future winners. So just be ready, and let the competition start.
Thank you. And Mr. Garen Hansen, Senior Vice President of the West and Central Africa and Haiti of Chemonics International.
Thank you. Yeah, so my name's Garen Hansen. I'm the Senior Vice President for West and Central Africa at Chemonics International. This division also houses our global agriculture and food security practice. And so for those of you who may not know Chemonics, we are an employee-owned company that our mission is to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals. So we have, for nearly 50 years, implemented long-term development projects for a variety of donors and private sector clients. And while private sector support and working with entrepreneurs has always been integral to our methodology, I think in the past 5 or 10 years, that's become increasingly an explicit part of our business. And so we've launched something called Chemonics Capital, where we're investing directly in entrepreneurs. We have something called the Impact Lab, where we're looking at how we can scale innovations that are being funded through the work that we're carrying out. And so we've been a longtime partner with Extreme Tech Challenge and some other organizations in this space. And so just really excited to take a look at all of the fantastic solutions that are going to be presented today and bring that kind of private sector lens to this experience. So really looking forward to getting started, and thank you for having us.
Thank you, judges, for extending your time and expertise with us today. And before we kick off the startup pitches, I want to thank our evaluation committee and our semifinal judges, many of whom are present in the audience today. And we had quite a spread of judges this year. Your commitment and expertise have been invaluable in helping us identify and elevate these deserving high potential startups that are poised to make a very meaningful impact. So now let's begin the startup pitches. You will meet 2 innovative startups in each award category. Kicking off with the first award, Digital Innovation in Food Processing. The startups in this category are leveraging digital and data solutions to enhance efficiency, quality, sustainability, safety, and labor conditions in food processing. Please welcome to the stage Namat El-Tazi from Poultry Sync, a cloud-based poultry management solution company from Egypt.
Can you hear me now? Okay. Hello, everyone. Okay. The age-old question may be, which comes first, the chicken or the egg? For us, the answer is both, and everything in between. Believe it or not, getting chickens to your plate at a reasonable cost while ensuring food safety is really complex. There are a lot of inefficiencies in the value chain due to fraud, resource misuse, and actions that break the poultry value chain. In fact, $60 billion is wasted every year because of these inefficiencies. Poultry companies take months to sort through data to detect inconsistencies and fraud, weeks to obtain government subsidies and secure large deals. And they take a lot of time to predict vital metrics to take corrective actions on time. And that's where we come in. PoultrySync is an end-to-end AI platform that stops and prevents this waste. So how do we do it? We unify data across siloed processes. We provide transparency, traceability, and actionable predictions. Our customers using our machine learning models right now can actually detect inconsistencies instantly. They can generate audit reports with a click of a button. We provide them with applications where they can reduce their waste of energy, feed, and water, and maximize their production wherever they are in this complex process. Using our solution worldwide, we can actually secure extra food for 41 million people worldwide every year. And this is not just words. We are already operating in 3 different countries and worth of $1.5 billion worth of chickens, and that's a lot of chickens. So our customers actually save a lot of feed, water, and energy, a lot of resources since we launched in 2021. And my name is Namet Tezi. I'm a co-founder and COO of PoultrySync. And along with my co-founders, we bring a lot of machine learning and business intelligence solution experience to our organization. We're tapping into the $628 billion poultry market that attracted even the most successful investor of all time. So if you're interested in technology that feeds the world, come talk to us. Thank you.
Thank you, Namet, to the judges for your questions.
Sure.
Maybe, yeah, do we just share the microphone maybe across the, okay, very good.
I can give you one.
So no, you need one because you have to answer the questions. Very first question, give us a sense, Namet, thank you so much for the presentation on some of the types of customers that will likely be using PoultrySync.
Of course, we have integrators, poultry integrators with broilers, breeders, hatcheries, slaughterhouses, feed mill, laboratories, so all the poultry value chain, so either integrator or someone who has just part of the value chain, doesn't have to be the full value chain. If you are an integrator, you can actually get more benefit with traceability and food safety as well.
Great. You mentioned some of the drivers for customers to adopt this are fraud they see in their business or different stages of the poultry value chain that they see breakdowns. What are you seeing customers, what's driving their adoption of this? What are those needs that they're responding to that are really driving their adoption?
One of the main things that actually really, I can give you an example, for example, in broilers, which is the smallest part of the value chain for the poultry meat. So actually farm managers cannot predict the weights at the end of the cycle. So they know the standard, but they don't know the exact weight. So they cannot align the slaughterhouse or the sales orders with the weights at specific ages. So what we do actually is that we predict the weights with 97% accuracy at the end of the cycle. So they can now align all the contracts and will be able to plan accordingly and be able to sell according to that. So this is one of the drivers, and the ease of adoption as well is another driver as well, so that they can gain the benefit of, and the ROI of the data itself.
Yeah, thank you very much. One question from my side as representative of a UN development agency. How do you integrate smallholders, for example, in your platform?
One of the things that we actually worked a lot inside the solution is to enable to integrate contract farms to integrators, so that they can actually get all the benefits and best practices of the integrators into the small contract farmers as well. So this is something that we already added inside the solution. We have a support module where we can provide the best practices as well as give remote support to the small farmers. You're welcome.
Yes, thanks a lot. A quick question. You were referring to fraud.
Yes.
So can you explain me how your app solved the problem of it?
There are a lot of frauds. As my colleague, my partner actually always say, we can write a 101 book of 101 ways of how to steal a poultry farm. So there are a lot of fraud problems. Like, for example, you can steal feed. Or it doesn't have to be stealing. It can be actually you're trying to hide some performance issues. So when you hide the performance issues as a farm manager inside the company, you're hiding it so that you can get a bonus, for example, at the end of the cycle. But when you hide it, you'll not be able to know that there's a problem, and you'll, as a production manager, you'll not be able to actually fix the problem. So what we do is that we visualize all the performance in a way that you can actually know that there are, for example, some eggs are not available right now. They are sending some of the eggs to the hatchery, and they're keeping some because of the second day there will not be a lot of eggs, for example, so they can put some eggs instead of that. But this actually affects the performance because of the storage egg days of inside the hatchery. It affects the fertility and the hatchability and so on. So a lot of things like that inside the farm, inside the hatcheries, inside the slaughterhouse, the feed mill, and everywhere.
Can I go?
I hope I answered this.
Can I come in on another one?
Yeah.
The team, you gave us a quick glimpse, but give us a little more about the background, the skill sets. What makes your team uniquely qualified to develop PoultrySync?
Of course. So I myself, I have a PhD in data management, data analytics from University of Michigan. My co-founders as well have a PhD in computer
Go Wolverines.
Yeah. and my co-founder have a PhD also in computer science from American University in Cairo, and the rest of the team all have computer and technology background in building business intelligence solutions for international organizations like IFC, World Bank, and so on. What we did is that we cooperated with poultry experts from 6 different countries: New Zealand, South Africa, Netherlands, Ireland, Holland, different countries, and right now Saudi Arabia as well, so that we can develop the solution in a way that if something can be done in 3 different ways, we already implemented the 3 different ways so that it would be very easy way to incorporate it or deploy it in any country in the world. So right now we have data scientists, we have support vets, veterinarians as well with us, and developers and project managers. Welcome.
So you are tracking a lot of the data from the companies you are working with. So what is your policy in terms of data ownerships between you and your consumers?
For large and medium companies, it's their own data. We cannot actually use it because it's a showstopper actually to try even to use the data on even the statistical level. But for the small farmers, we'll be able to subsidize the application in a way that we can get the data and work on the data in a way that we can use it on statistical level and be able to work with the data and with the genetics company to get better insights of the products, the chips or the feed at the nutrition companies or medication companies and so on.
Thank you, judges. Let's give us a round of applause for PoultrySync. Next, let's put our hands together for Moral Kaber from Safi, creating the tools for a safe and transparent East African dairy supply chain.
East Africa has the highest global incidence of milk-borne disease. Alarmingly, 30% of deaths are in children under 5. This is due to a lack of access to safe, pasteurized milk, with up to 90% of milk in East Africa being sold by small-scale milk sellers in the informal market. The challenges of the current dairy supply chain are burdened by many factors, but most importantly, the lack of adequate traceability and tools to ensure safety. Pasteurization would destroy the harmful pathogens in milk. However, existing solutions simply don't work for small-scale milk sellers. They are too large and expensive for individual use, rely on power sources they do not have access to, and require industrial-level training to operate. This is resulting in individuals drinking their milk raw or boiling it, which can strip over 30% of milk's nutrients. To address this, we have created Safi. We have patented the world's first small-scale pasteurization control unit targeted towards small-scale dairy farmers and vendors. The device kills milk-borne diseases all while retaining the key nutrients of milk. It is affordable, powered by renewable energy sources, and allows farmers to easily pasteurize their differentiating daily yields. To address adequate traceability, at the core of the product is a digital tracking system that remotely records milk pasteurization data and centralizes production information for regulators and governments. We spent all of last year focusing on co-creating and piloting our product with farmers to ensure that our solution meets their needs. We just got back from a month-long trip to East Africa where we sold over 25 devices to farmers and vendors in Rwanda and Kenya. And after educating over 500 milk sellers on the importance of pasteurization and launching our official partnership with local governments, we have orders for over 3,000 devices. After scaling up our production capacity, we hope to deliver devices within these communities and expand into neighboring counties and regions. With over 88 million dairy farmers globally, Sophie has a clear opportunity to make a significant impact. Our core team has just graduated, and we are super excited to be moving to East Africa early next year to set up our headquarters locally. With the guidance of our experienced and diverse board of advisors and our breadth of professional and academic experience, we are confident that the next time an East African picks up a glass of milk, they won't be scared that it is dangerous, but they will be confident that it is Sophie.
Hi, Sophie team. Thanks for joining us. Over to you, judges.
Thank you, team. First question, of the various distribution channels you have for your product, whether it be kind of selling them directly to farmers or through NGOs or governments, which do you see as the most promising, or which you would kind of try first or put the most effort into?
Right now, we really are focusing on our B2G business models and our B2B, so either with local governments or NGOs, just because they are the most scalable. With those partnerships, we've been able to reach almost 300 farmers at a time, which is much more scalable than going to each individual farmer. Also, by working with local partners, they're able to help us educate the farmers, and that's been a huge part of our implementation. They already have that trust within the communities. And so that's what we've been focusing on right now. And then as our name gets out there, we can also focus on the B2C direct channels, maybe selling at local kiosks. That's some more of a future plan.
And so just to give you a little bit of context on where we're at now, we have one main partner in Kenya who we're working with. They're an NGO that has access to, I think, over 300,000 farmers. And then in Rwanda, we're working with another NGO, they're called RNDP, that has access to over 10,000 kiosks.
Yeah, thank you very much. Very, very innovative and necessary, I think, approach you developed. One question, I think a lot of the communities you work with perhaps used to drink raw milk and not more or less pasteurized. So is this a challenge for change the behavior?
Absolutely, and that's why I mentioned a little bit of education in there as well. Before we do any implementation with partners, we usually do 2 or 3 days of workshops where we have 200 to 300 farmers attend, and we actually do demonstrations for them. So we have raw milk in one bowl, we have boiled milk and pasteurized milk, and we essentially do nutrient tests in front of them. So we show them the difference in nutrients, we show them the difference with our test strips of which ones still have diseases in them or microorganisms and which ones don't. And then we also do taste tests with the raw and boiled milk so they can taste and smell the difference. And we found actually running these demonstrations really helps them understand why pasteurized milk is safer than raw milk and why it's healthier than boiled milk, rather than just directly telling them. And so education's been a big part of our implementation so far.
The flip side of it is actually working, having the farmers work with the consumers as well to show them benefits directly. And it's really nice because there's obviously the benefits in the nutrient count and destroying all the harmful pathogens. But, you have like a physical benefit that the customers can clearly tell. So we found that there's been a lot of success. The farmers that we're actually working with currently have started being able to make more money by selling the pasteurized milk because customers actually associate and understand the benefit directly.
Hi, everyone. It's nice to see you. We're sorry we don't have you here in Rome with us, but it's great to have you all on screen. The jury, the judges, have the added benefit of getting to see your longer slide deck than what you had just done here. So my question is related to some of that presentation. In your timeline of where you sort of are today, you referenced the finishing of a paper about the biological efficacy of the technology. And you also made reference to your patent pursuit, moving from provisional to official. Can you tell us a bit about the status of both of those so we know sort of where you are in achieving those milestones?
For sure. I think it's absolutely great that you guys got to see everything, but we would have loved to be in Rome. We actually have our graduation tomorrow, and so from when we had submitted that video to now, quite a lot has happened in our timeline. The paper is almost done, and that's being published. It's still early here, with our university, the University of Waterloo, and then we've also been accepted into an East African fund to just sort of reach out to even more NGOs and really just embed ourselves in their network, as well as moving over there at the beginning of next year. I think that's, the bigger updates towards the end of the time.
Yeah, so you had a question about the patent.
Oh, yeah.
So we filed for a provisional patent. That's going to expire soon, so we're in the process of making it official. We're currently getting accepted into a program that's going to help us essentially support the funding. Getting an official patent in the U.S. Patent Office can be pretty expensive, so we're just looking on ways to finance that. And I think that's something that's going to be down the pipeline by the end of the year.
Yes, a quick question. How you deal with the pastoralist community, and have you noticed a high level of engagement on your products with a specific group of dairy producer, I would say, in East Africa?
I'm so sorry. Would you be able to repeat that? Someone's Wi-Fi cut out for just a second.
Okay, it's about the pastoralist community. Because you have different type of dairy farmers, I'm sure, involved in this. And so, we have a particular cultural dimension and things like this. So are we reacting well to this product?
So it's so funny you mentioned that, because the program that Daria just mentioned us getting into, it's an Acumen's program for pastoralists and farmers who are displaced specifically because of conflict or climate change. And so we just got granted $100,000 there to specifically work with these kinds of pastoralists. And we think we have a lot of potential to work with them, especially the ones who are moving around. Our device has been designed for them specifically. And so that's a target market for us now.
Thank you, Safi team. Hope to see you soon. And that wraps up our digital innovations in food processing category.
Another round of applause. Another round of applause. Well done once again to Safi and Poultry Sync. We are now moving on to the Empowering Women in Agri-Food Systems category. The startups in this category are significantly improving women's access to resources and technology in agri-food systems, particularly in developing regions. To tell us about how they empower women farmers in rural communities, please welcome Akshay Kawale of AgroSure Products and Innovations.
Yeah. Hi everyone, I'm Akshay, founder of AgroSure Products and Innovations Private Limited. So in India, 85% of rural women are currently working in the agriculture sectors. They are still using the conventional tools and practices to do farmings. And apart from this, the already existing available machines in the market are not gender friendly. They are too big and too costly to be used by women farmers. So as you can see in the pictures, usually women farmers in India, they used to carry 20 liters of spray pump on their back throughout a day, and they used to uproot the weeds with an awkward postures. So that leads to cause many health issues. So we built a solution for them. So currently, we are currently designing and manufacturing various types of affordable, gender-friendly farm machineries for them, which are easy to use, lightweight, and a single machine can perform various types of activities in the field. So apart from this, we also currently selling solar-operated food processing equipments to women self-help groups. So we are empowering the women farmers in terms of reducing the physical efforts required to do farmings. We are increasing the crop yield by almost 15 to 20%, which leads to increase in the household income. So as of now, we have reached around 25,000 small farmers, particularly in India, which includes women farmers as well. In the next 5 years, we are trying to reach 80,000 more women farmers in India. So what sets us apart from the other competitors? So our farm machineries are adaptable to various terrains irrespective of cropping patterns and soil types. And we also provide customized solutions as per the need of women farmers. So that's how we engage with the communities before directly selling out our products to them. So we partner with government bodies, KVKs, FPOs, and self-help groups to create awareness campaigns as well as live demonstrations. So that helps us to build trust among the farming communities, particularly women farmers. So this is our team, all of us from engineering background. So we belong from the farming community. So that's how like we are empowering the women farmers in terms of creating a better opportunity for them, giving equal access to farm machineries as main. So our solution has been supported by UNDP, UNSDSN Network, and WRI. Yeah, thank you.
All right. Thank you, Akshay. Yeah. I'd like to pass it over to the judges for questions.
Thank you very much. Curious, given there's so many different kind of farm tools and implements and products you could innovate, can you talk a little bit about that research process and how women are involved in kind of the R&D for the products that you're designing for them?
Yeah, sure. So women farmers are the integral part of our design phase. So we take input from women farmers whenever we design a new product. So we take a feedback as well as inputs from the women farmers. What are the existing problems they are facing with the regular hand tools, and what are the traditional methods are currently existed in India. So we take a feedback from them. Then we start, we usually visit their farms, we contacts and we communicate with the women farmers. Then we start developing our solutions. Then we build a prototype and then we test it back to the field. So that's how like women farmers are the integral part of our design process.
Thank you very much. That was exactly my question. So, but nevertheless, I'm also interested. How do you get access to women, and is there any cooperation with financial institutions?
Yeah. So basically, like we usually face this challenge. Like the affordability is one of the challenge when women farmers try to purchase our solutions. So what we are currently doing is we are focusing the community-based approach, where a group of women farmers come together. They pull out the resources collectively to purchase our machineries, and we also partner with government institutions, government bodies, then women self-help groups, FPOs, as well as microfinance institutions who used to fund our solutions. And we are also collaborated with Government of India, so they are offering a subsidized rate to our machines. So for example, if any women farmers or a group of women farmers willing to purchase our machineries, so Government of India is currently providing 50 to 70% of subsidies to have our machineries. Yeah.
Yes, and thanks a lot for the presentation. What is the share of your tools that are powered by electricity compared to other sources of energy?
Okay, so currently we have almost 30 to 35 different products categories in our portfolio. So most of them are currently runs on the fossil fuels as of now, but there are a couple of products like we have recently launched into the market. The first one is the battery operated farm machines, as well as we are currently in a process of developing solar operated farm tools, which we have recently applied for the patents. So we are slowly moving on the using the regenerative farm machineries in futures. Yeah, so that's currently in the pipeline. Yeah.
Great, thanks very much. Just a clarification question, just to understand the business model. So you are designing and manufacturing or producing each of these different machinery options, correct? For equipment options, okay. And then my question, I guess maybe that is a little more granular. There's always, as we think about the machinery market, whether it's small, medium, or large, servicing. Breakdowns, fixes, repair work. How do you take on that issue for the women customers?
So like coming from the engineering background, like we use different design process to design these similar kinds of farm machineries. Then we have a dedicated after sales service team with us who used to provide after sales service at each and every locations where our machines are currently working on the fields. So if any women farmers faces problems regarding machineries, our salesperson goes to their field and solve the issues. And we also provide hands-on training experience for the women farmers before selling these machines to them. So that's why, like, if any minor problems arise at the field, women farmers can easily solve those problems.
And are they excited customers? What's their reaction when they have the opportunity to use your equipment?
Yeah, they are happy. Yeah, they are getting good results out of it. Yeah.
All right, that was quite the round of hot fire questions. Another round of applause for Akshay as he takes his seat. And without further ado, I would like to present our second agripreneur in this category, and this is Fatima Kabir Umar of Energy Assured. She will be joining us virtually, and she will be taking us through how she breaks down these barriers for female smallholder farmers in Africa. So we will be having Fatima joining us virtually.
Imagine a world where women like Amina, a smallholder farmer in northern Nigeria, can thrive. Despite her passion, cultural and gender barriers have kept her trapped in poverty, struggling to feed her family of 12 with limited resources. Amina spends her days boiling water by hand, unable to produce enough food as fuel cost rises and reliable water source vanishes. Now picture a perfect solution: She Farms Green, a mobile solar pump that transforms lives. This affordable, eco-friendly technology empowers women to access water for irrigation with flexible payment options. Our innovative mobile trolley brings solar panels and pumps directly to clusters of women farmers. Today, Amina earns $4 a day instead of just $0.2. Now a brighter future has emerged for her and her family. I can proudly say that with every drop of water, we're not just growing crops, we're growing the seeds of hope and resilience in the hearts of countless vulnerable women. With a market of 126 million, we're targeting just 10%, which is 8.8 million. For our traction, we have transformed the lives of women like Amina with a proven track record. We have directly impacted about 20,000 women farmers, saving 40% of their expenses. We proudly contribute to SDG 2, 5, and 13 by eliminating hunger, empowering women, and reducing carbon emissions. We have secured partnerships and funding worth $700,000 from initiatives like WFP and the rest. Our revenue model is simple yet effective. We sell, rent, consult, and also exchange farm inputs after harvest. Our team has the passion, expertise, and experience needed for the success of this project. Therefore, we seek $1.5 million to empower 10,000 women farmers in northern Nigeria, achieve 50% cost savings in 1 year and 30,000 women in 2 years. Remember, with our innovation, we are for sure breaking down barriers one drop at a time. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Fatima. Thank you for that. A polite request as you answer, please keep it short so that we remain within time. And now, judges, you have the floor.
Thank you, Fatima. Thank you very much. We just had another candidate, and there was a question of the after-sales service. I think that is Beth, I hope you are not angry that I asked this question, but nevertheless, it's of course also an interesting question. How do you organize it?
Can you hear us, Fatima? Uh-oh. Team, can you hear us from Rome?
Yeah.
Yes?
Thank you very much.
Ooh, we can't hear you very well. We have a volume problem on our side. We can't, the volume's very low. We can't hear you.
Okay, can you hear me?
No.
What's up now?
Better? Go louder? Really loud?
Hello?
Better?
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Actually, we are energy assured and we are assisting women smallholder farmers with the subscription of the mobile solar pumps and other farm inputs. And part of the after-sales services is we have our agent in the field where they deploy the farm to the farms. They identify the female smallholder farmers through their cooperatives and cluster. They install the farm, and in case there's any issue with the brush, water seal, or any technical issue, it's still the agent that are taking care of that one. We also train them on how to become a solar friendly so that they can easily operate the solar farm. And even if our agents are not close to the farm or to the farm, they can easily operate it and use it for their irrigation purposes. This is a brief about what we do in terms of the after-sales services.
Great. Can you share with us a little bit more about the team that you have assembled, a little bit about your background and what kind of expertise and experience you have on the team itself?
Yeah, thank you very much. I am the CEO. Fatima is the Chief Operating Officer. I'm a US-trained solar specialist. I was born and grown up from a family whose main activity is traditional agriculture. So actually, in our community, we learned that most of the women are deprived of their right to becoming self-employed. Mostly, they are regarded as farm laborers. So at our own level, in Energy Assure, we thought if women can play an important role in being a farm laborer, why can't we assist them so that they become not only laborers, but farmers on their own? This is on my own. Fatima is an IT expert who also has passion for women and the energy and agriculture. Other team members, Engineer Muhammad and Engineer Aminu, Engineer Fatima, they are all renewable energy experts and electrical engineers, together with other business managers and finance specialists.
Great, thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you. You mentioned your revenue model. I believe you said it was kind of sell, rent, consult, and some other things there. Could you talk a little bit about the positioning of your product and if you're competing on price, affordability, distribution channels, or how do you see kind of the solar product versus kind of traditional ones that may be available on the market?
Come again? Sorry.
Yeah, my question is about your revenue model, and you said you kind of sell, consult, rent, and so just thinking through your product versus others that are on the market and how it's positioned and where you see kind of the most hope for creating a business model around the product.
Thank you very much. Actually, we have 4 revenue models. We sell the solar farm, we rent it, we do consultancy, and we also give out farm input to women smallholder farmers in exchange of their harvest after they are done with their farming. Actually, you find out that more than 95% of the all-year-round farmers use petrol and diesel engine to draw off water in Nigeria, not only in areas of our operation. So recently there's issue of the petrol increase in Nigeria. Even when we started this initiative, the price of petrol per liter was 87 naira. Even during that time, our solution was cheaper, not to talk of now that the price of petrol is more than 1,000 in the country, meaning that the price of petrol has more than 10 times than how it was before. So actually, although the solar is expensive, so we come up with an innovative model, a situation whereby we group women smallholder farmers into a cluster of 5, so that we give them one solar farm for them to be able to pay 60,000 per month in form of rent. And affordability, coupled with the flexible payment option. This is why, and we are first of its kind in Nigeria that venture into this mobile solar farm renting, which is why the demand we have for the services is far higher, or to facilitate what we are able to provide. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you. Very quick question. So we already just discussed that for your revenue scheme, you are renting things, and so you have a subscription-based model. But you should have a lot of in-front capital cost in order to buy the solar panel, the pump. So how you deal with your cash flow and the financing of your operation right now?
Yeah, thank you very much for the question. Initially, we started with the founders' contribution. We as a founders, we contributed our own money when we started the initiative. So through that and through revenue generation, the amount we are receiving from them in form of a subscription fee and the profit we are making from the selling of the solar pump and the other consultancy services we are being paid, because we are not only selling the solar pump and renting it, we also do a consultancy situation whereby when you have your own solar pump, we can come and install it for you, we maintain it, we fix it, and you pay us. So with these different income streams, we gradually grow the business. And sometimes we also have external partners from the side of the government and international organizations. Right now, we are carrying out a project with World Food Program. I think 10 startups were chosen from Africa, and Energy Assured having to one of them. So we are getting funding and other technical support for them to be able to reach more women, smallholder farmers in them areas and teachers areas of Manchester in Nigeria.
All right. Thank you so much, Energy Assured. Let us give them a round of applause. Thank you so much. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we have heard from the two categories, and we would like to take a short break. And this is a presentation from the culture team. So be energized, be energized. So let's put our hands together. Let's rub our hands and help me in welcoming a talented singer-songwriter from Zimbabwe, Miss Mpiwa.
Hello, thank you, Amanda.
Yeah.
Oh, you're looking gorgeous.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone. How are you doing today? Yeah, that was a very heartening array of pitches, right, for the startups. I'm sure everyone is feeling, just like every other single pitch that has happened over the past week, everyone is feeling hopeful and encouraged by the amount of innovation and optimism. So I hope you enjoyed this culture break. The songs that I have prepared for you are along the same lines of feeling safe, of feeling secure in your future, and also just feeling encouraged about what's to come. So I hope you enjoy. take my hand, you walk me through the old and new curse. One day no na yendi noti apa titi se kugara murudor. When you take my hand, you walk me through the old and new curse. One day no na yendi noti apa titi se kugara murudor. Caving in, I am protected. When I feel alone and cold, I'm not forsaken. When I'm feeling lost, it's dark, I'm being sought after. I'm running to the secret place, 'cause I'm your daughter. When the world is caving in, I am protected. When I feel alone and cold, I'm not forsaken. When I'm feeling lost, it's late. I'm running to the secret place. Ooh, yeah. I am your daughter. I am your daughter. So much. So that song is called Daughter. It comes out of my EP that I released in 2022, and it's just about feeling safe and secure. The next song is called Usachke. It means don't fear, and it's about feeling secure and safe. I hope you enjoy. Take your time to say goodbye. The world is waiting for your shine. People praying day and night that we do not lose your light. I hear you say, Andishrigoni. I'm now on the way. Just wait for me. Pray for peace. Know that goodness, mercy follows you all the days of your life. When light comes shining through, know that day is your time. Jimwari moving you. Know that goodness, mercy follows you all the days of your life. When light comes shining through, know that day is your time. Jimwari moving you, usafunduke, usachke. Know that goodness, mercy follows
Hiwa, for those inspiring voice and message. Welcome back to the second half of the Startup Innovation Awards. Let's meet the finalists of the food loss category. The startups in this category focus on reducing food loss across the supply chain from post-harvest to pre-retail stages. Your first presenter comes from Alter Carbon that has developed a digital nose for detecting food spoilage and ensuring quality from farm to table. Let's welcome Detalina Vasileva.
Hello, I'm Detalina from Altered Carbon, and we have developed a digital nose that can detect early signs of spoilage, pests, and diseases in food from harvest from farm to table. Our vision is to digitize the sense of smell, giving computers the ability to detect early signs of spoilage and transform the way we manage our food supply chain. We have attracted early adopters working with Realm 5 who are trying to detect 4 types of ear rot in corn, with AgroFresh who want to detect ripeness, mold, and decay in fresh fruit, as well as Beehive who are looking to detect black heart in potatoes, a disease that at the moment requires one person to go and cut a potato in half so that they can diagnose. Our device is small, smart, cost-efficient, and low and AI-powered for real-time detection. You can rent or buy the device and subscribe to additional machine learning models for different applications. Our Sense Studio platform allows customers to tag and classify data for different events so that they can build their own models and fine-tune them, reporting false positives and false negatives. Our competitor landscape contains companies that develop different types of sensors, most of them not in the agri-tech space. And we have a patented, cost-effective solution that is cheaper than most of them. Just an ethylene sensor starts at 50 euros. We can match that while offering detection for ethylene, mold, rot, and other diseases. Our team has expertise in robotics, chemistry, machine learning, and cloud. And we have a key advisor, Jay Croney, an ex-Tesco executive, so we're well positioned to fight the food loss problem. We have so far gathered 1.8 million in investment and 2 million in Innovate UK grants. We're looking to collect another 20 million so that we can expand our scent library and scale our manufacturing. And our plans are to go from food cold chain monitoring to livestock monitoring, and then in the end to smart detection for crop management. Thank you.
Thank you, Detalina. Over to you, judges.
Thank you very much. Food loss is a big issue, especially in developing countries. The newest figures from David I read today was around 20% in average.
30 from what I've read, but yeah.
Yes. So my question is, could you approach with your technology also smallholder farmers?
In time, yes. So with smaller farmers, the idea is that we can partner with other hardware companies and other sensors already on the market. So if you have a vision sensor, we can reduce the cost of our solution by implementing just the chip so that the price comes down to 10-15 euros per sensor. And then we can augment the data from scent and from vision. Additionally, we're working on other applications of the sensor, including the medical use case. So ideally, we will be able to fund the agri-tech space by gathering additional revenue from medical use cases as well as from livestock monitoring, where you can have a handheld device for example, respiratory disease in bovines, which is priced higher, so that you can then offer lower cost devices to smaller farms.
Can you share a little bit about some of the feedback that you've had from some of your initial customers about the efficacy, about the performance of the digital nose?
Yeah, so we at the moment, just this week, we were speaking to the UK Agri-Tech Centre. We're partnering with them on an Innovate UK project about tomato pest and diseases detection. So we're doing an experiment on red spider mites where we infected tomato plants with red spider mites, and they cannot see the red spider mites with a visual inspection, knowing that they have infected the plant with them. So they're super enthusiastic about the prospects. Of course, it's a long journey because you have to gather a lot of data to build a good enough model. So first we build a model in the lab, and then we provide the devices to them so that they can report false positives and false negatives to fine-tune the model.
Thank you. Super interesting. Curious, there's the cost of a sensor and then there's the cost of the subscription, and kind of when you think through the minimum investment a company would have to make to be your customer and what that would result for in terms of what size business would that be, or who is that kind of target market with your current model?
So our market research shows that food and storage and transportation is our easiest penetration at the moment because you don't need as many sensors, and working with companies like AgroFresh, we want to start with expensive produce and also expensive journey so that we can ensure that we deploy sensors in different places in storage and then in transportation, reducing the loss. But it will depend on the volume. So at the moment, we're not at the scale where we're manufacturing thousands of devices. So at the moment, our prices have no economies of scale factored into them. The idea is that we can drop the price to something like renting the devices at 50 euros per sensor per month at a starting price, lower than that if you have thousands of devices, and that's just with one machine learning model, and you can get additional ones for additional use cases. So after storage and transportation, livestock monitoring, that's going to be more profitable, and then crop monitoring, I think, is the most difficult one because you need the largest amount of sensors. So there we want to partner with companies that do automatic spraying of biological control so that you can detect pests and automatically spray. And this could significantly reduce the cost of adoption.
Maybe a direct follow-up. So you try to make and sell the device, but a lot of your value addition is on the software, the AI, and actually the sensor. So do you think it should not be better to actually do this partnership with other companies that are doing machinery in terms of food processing, sorting, or on the farm, and basically focus on the core business that is the sensor and the software behind it?
At some point, for sure. The reason we have done all the manufacturing of devices and all that encompassing the sensor is because this is a necessary step to the adoption, because first you have to give a standalone device to companies to quite literally play with so that they can see the feasibility of the product for themselves, and then later on miniaturizing the device, integrating into other systems, and then you will have primarily the sensor and the development of the machine learning models and of course the platform. And with some of the customers it's going to be just API calls to their platform, so they won't need to see ours, they will just need the events from ours on their own platforms.
Thank you, Detalina. Let's give a round of applause to Ultra Carbon. The second presenter in the food loss category is Victor Mena from Duca, connecting markets to agricultural and food manufacturing product resources, eliminating brokers in the supply chain.
Food security exists when all people at all times have physical and economic access to sufficient, safe, and nutritious food that meets their dietary needs and food preference for an active and healthy life. Duca is addressing two dimensions of food security. One, availability of food, and two, accessibility of food both economically and physically. Over 490 million Africans are affected. They live under $2 a day that make up 40% of the population and shop daily from microstores. Due to post-harvest losses and ineffective logistics of farm or produced goods from source to the consumer, prices of these goods are too high, which means they can't afford quality food. The solution we've created is simple. 1, shop at your convenience. 2, get financing and delivery at your doorstep. This way, we reduce food prices up to 25% and ensure quality food reaches all. This is a huge opportunity in Africa, which is over $350 billion US. Founded in 2021, Duka has so far delivered over 200,000 deliveries to an active base of over 20,000 mom and pop shops. We are on course this year to generate over 50 million in sales and over 5 million in revenue. The co-founders and the EXCO team have worked in over 35 African countries collectively and across 9 industries, raised over $30 million in investments for 4 startups they have been part of. They have what it takes to address this challenge. We look forward to chatting with you on how you can be part of the Duka vision.
Hi, Victor. Welcome. Can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you. Hi, everyone. And sorry I couldn't make it personally.
Hi, Victor. We wish you were here in Rome with us, but great to have you virtually. I have just a couple of questions. Can you share with us what countries in Africa right now are you operating in? You gave us some of the data points about customers and deliveries, et cetera, but tell us regionally where you are. And then talk to us a little bit as well about your competition in this particular platform space.
Okay, so I didn't hear the first question very clearly. If you can repeat, but I had the second question very
we've got a connection issue again. The first question was, what countries are you operating in? Describe the marketplace for us a bit.
In Kenya, the numbers that you're seeing, but we have partnerships in Tanzania and Uganda because that's the next markets that we expand. So in Uganda and Tanzania, 3% of the numbers that you saw this year, but we fully plan to set up there in the next, by actually this quarter. So in terms of the competition space, I have a question. So we have, of course, competitors in this space. Majorly what you find is, the likes of Twiga, who there you have 3 kind of organizations that have owned those ones that mix asset and technology, and you have ourselves. So where we are a unique category in the sense that we don't, is the fact that we utilize the already existing assets, which is the distributors in the market, to distribute the goods, or we get the established mom and pop shops that we can use to distribute the products owning warehouses. That way we can grow as fast as you have seen us growing. However, there's a space in this, platform space where there's a lot of competition, but still we've been able to get the numbers in.
Thank you.
Yeah, I was wondering if you could talk a little bit more about that competition, knowing this space and knowing that there's a lot of delivery services coming up, and what you think will be kind of most appealing to the retailers about using your platform, or how you're targeting them distinctly with your services.
That's a good question as well. So since we have 3 types of competitions, those who are asset heavy, mixing asset and tech, and then tech focused. So in terms of how we compete, is we focus on time delivery. So part of the challenges that you see is that the mom and pop shops don't have enough space for them to store goods for this.
So they need, when they order the products, to be there. In fact, one of the values that we offer them is to deliver in under 6 hours. We are consistently delivering in under 4 hours. So that's a key component in terms of value. The other key component is making sure that there's consistency. Since you're getting products from farmers, getting products from distributors that we don't own, it becomes paramount for us to make sure that the goods in there within, consistently when they're required. So how we do that is to make sure that we've mapped distributors, to deliver only a radius of 20 kilometers and no more. And then we hold accountable the distributors, manufacturers, and even farmers to consistently deliver on what they say to deliver. So, but not just checking the quality, but in the quality, giving them the right to also the right seeds, together with the partners that distribute. Consistency
Seems like we have a connectivity issue, so we're afraid that we will have to stop here and move on to the next startup. Thank you, Duka.
Right, and that wraps up the food loss category. Let's clap for the food loss participants. Amazing. And now we are on to the last category, which is good food for all for today and for tomorrow. The startups in this category are developing take-best solutions for sustainable food security and access to healthy diets, aligning with this year's World Food Forum theme. Let us welcome our first presenter in this category, Denise of Better Fish, creating healthier oceans and a delicious marine-based future through the power of seaweed. Welcome to the stage, Denise.
Yeah, hello, I'm Denise, the founder of Better Fish, and my first name actually means the sea in Turkish. If we think about the future of food, we usually think about solutions for the 30% land mass. What we tend to forget are the other 71% of our planet. 71% of the planet are covered by oceans, meaning there is no future of food without our oceans. Yet only 1% of all climate investments today go into the oceans, making the SDG 14 the most underfunded of them all. We want to bring the oceans back on the agenda. How? With cultivated seaweed. Seaweed is the fastest growing biomass on Earth. There are more than 10,000 edible species out there, some tasting like pepper or lemony even. They don't need input of fresh water, soil or fertilizers to grow, and fishing communities across the globe can switch to seaweed farming and generate an alternative income. Our vision is to bring seaweed into every food and create systemic change in the food industry. We have developed proprietary processing methods to replace up to 30% of all processed foods through seaweed, and enriching it with benefits and nutrients such as micronutrients, proteins, etc. And by this, reducing CO2 emissions drastically and democratizing regenerative food. Sounds too good to be true. Right? I see the questions on your face. Does this really work? Does anybody want to eat this? Can we make it good for all? There's only one answer. Yes, we can. To prove that seaweed can be a game changer in the food industry, we created Better Fish, the first and most authentic fish alternative made from seaweed. In just 2 years, we secured listings with 2,000 retailers across Europe and convinced players such as Aldi, Japan Airlines, and Pizza Hut. But this is just the beginning. We are already working with major food players across the globe to bring seaweed into even more food categories. And by this, obviously scaling our impact. We already replace more than 190 tons of fish today. But if you think about what else we can do with seaweed, there's so much more impact that we can create. Together with my talented team, all shareholders in the company, by the way, we want to make seaweed the hero on our plates. And for this, we need your support to bring the attention to the oceans that they deserve. Thank you.
Thank you, Dennis. And it sounds too good to be true indeed. And I'd like to pass it to the judges for questions.
Yeah, thank you very much. Very interesting. What about the consumer acceptance? Are there any approaches from your side how to increase this?
Yeah, it's a really good question because obviously the benefits of seaweed and seaweed cultivation, they are known for decades, right? I mean, the solution is literally lying there. But as you say, there's in some parts of the world, there's very little acceptance from consumers about seaweed. Otherwise, we would already eat it in masses. That's why we want to integrate seaweed as parts in other processed foods to basically build the Trojan horse. So they can eat the foods that they love, enrich their bodies with important nutrients, but do something good for the planet at the same time. And Better Fish is the first vertical that we tried it with, so replacing tuna. Canned tuna, by the way, 80% of all tuna consumed worldwide is canned tuna, which is insane. So already this is a massive opportunity for us. People can use it on the sandwich, on the salad, usually as they eat it. I mean, that's why we created the can. Make it easy for the consumers. That's the idea.
Thanks very much for the presentation. I was hoping for some samples.
I do have samples.
Okay, excellent. My question is maybe a little bit along the lines of, you showed some pictures, but thinking about the consumer and the actual store shelves, talk us through more than the canned tuna. What's the potential? Describe the products, sort of your vision for the different types of products that you are already producing and that you can, I think, expand to in the future.
Yeah, so obviously, like I said, this is the first vertical, like to prove that seaweed is edible, affordable, scalable, that consumers want to eat it. But currently we're actually working in two different areas. One is the meat section. So we are looking into processed meats and replacing up to 30% in, for example, sausages, processed meat with seaweed, which allows it to be obviously way more healthier and lots of fibers, etc. for the consumers. The other one is the baked goods section. So adding seaweed, for example, to bread allows to extend the shelf life drastically, but also chocolate. I mean, think about the actual negative impact of cocoa cultivation. We can also replace up to 30% in chocolate through seaweed without you noticing.
So,
thank you very much. 15 seconds and 15 seconds answer in the interest of time.
Okay, so you are in the business of food processing. How you deal with the accumulation of heavy metals or other contaminants in seaweed?
Just one example, a tuna fish swims in the ocean for 4 years, lots of time to accumulate heavy metals. Seaweed grows in just 4 months up to 2 meters. So very little time to accumulate heavy metals. We obviously work directly with the farmers and try to source it from very clean areas.
Thank you, Dennis. Another round of applause. Very interesting. We could go on and on, but we have to end there. And now let us welcome our last startup presenting today. Please put your hands together for Miller Alexander from Sense Agro Solutions, providing real-time agronomic insights to mitigate the impact of extreme weather. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Miller.
Thank you, everyone. It's been an honor to be here. So Sense Agro, it's a visionary company from a small, tiny country with a vision to bring technical, digital, data-driven decision-making for power for the smallholder farmers around the world. Climate change against growing population, around 10 billion by 2050, and aging population in the agriculture ecosystem. and natural resource limitations. So with all these struggles, conventional intuition-based, guesswork-based farming is no more sustainable and it's reliable. Future is depending on a retiring population and retiring resources. So that's where, being a fifth generation farmer's son, become an engineer, so we come up working with 6 years to bring digital solutions for the smallholder farmers, which is affordable, and finding the gaps, which is why the western part of the world technology cannot be used in the smallholder world, and filling the gap with affordable, hyper-localized digital solution with the power of AI and IoT, and being an OEM manufacturer, bringing directly to the farmers. At the same time, we're working not only on monitoring and advising, we are working towards automation to eliminate guesswork and conventional farmer errors on the ground. So we save water, fertigation, and make sure an incubated condition for the smallholder farms, open field and polytunnels as well. So we are working on 2 different models. Direct to consumers, mostly working with agribusinesses, at the same time with direct to modern farmers and farmer communities. But we make sure this is affordable through a pay-as-you-go direct to farmers subscription model. So take it today, pay whenever the harvest is ready. At the same time, we piggyback on our existing greenhouse builders and irrigation companies globally. Starting from a small country like Sri Lanka, we want to take it to the globals, then only we can scale up. And now we are having over 400 automated smart farms implemented in 10 different countries. So we working on efficiency improvement on farming. At the same time, we working with farmers directly to bring crops agronomy and agronomical intelligence. So our model is working with B2B to F business model. We're working with irrigation companies and greenhouse builders to reach the global market. That's where at the moment we have 20 plus partners in 10 different countries, reaching 27,000 farmers who are getting benefit and digital adaptation in Africa, South Asia, and Southeast Asia. And our vision is to embark 1 million farmers by 2030, over 250 partners in global conditions. So sustainability is in our DNA. So we working with 27,000 farmers, as I mentioned, empowering their environment and economic development, and save billions of gallons of water, fresh water, which we wasted in the conventional farming practices, which is recorded in our platform. And we are green inventors and entrepreneurs from small nation, and we are working with a small team of 12, but we have partners around the world and over 42 different field officers on the ground who make the deployment, implementation, and maintenance possible for our OEM manufactured hardware, which is on the farmer's ground. I'm more than happy to answer any question. Thank you so much for listening to me.
All right. Thank you, Mila. So we will take it to the judges. Polite reminder to keep your answers brief and the questions brief as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Could you tell me a little bit about your customer acquisition strategy? This is obviously relevant to a lot of high-value horticulture value chains and a lot of geographies. So what's your plan to kind of reach that million farmers?
Sure, sir. Actually, we were struggling in the past. It took 4 years to gain that particular business model. As I mentioned, we're working on a B2B to F business model. So we collaborate with existing irrigation companies, greenhouse builders, and consultants for businesses around the world in Southeast Asia, South Asia, and Africa. That is our forte to work with. So we're scaling up day-to-day basis. So last year we were like 10 partners and roughly around 10,000 farmers. This year, 27,000 farmers, expecting 50,000 farmers to adopt digitalization. So it's a non-exclusive business model to country specific, but we have multiple partners in country to expand. So they maintain, they deploy, and get a revenue share on each and every deployment they do. Hope I answered the question.
So your product can be both used in greenhouses and in open field?
Exactly.
Is it the same product or you have different modalities and variants?
Exactly the same. It's a crop agnostic platform. We are having coconut, mango as amazing use cases, over 12% yield improvement and 30% reduction on wastage of resources, and polytunnels and net houses and greenhouses as well. But we very focused on the crops, high value crops only we working on, because definitely there is a cost. Still we couldn't take it to the monoculture, low value crops. So we make sure whatever the crops we working on, which has a better margin, the improvement we make, we take a small chunk of it. So crop specific, but open and greenhouse both.
Thank you. Thank you, Miller.
Pleasure.
Yes. So
We'll
let
have
us-
this. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We have a lot to unpack, and so let us give another round of applause to Miller as he takes his seat. And there we did it. That brings us to the end of these presentations for today. These founders work in advance, breakthrough innovations for a better world, and it is truly inspiring. Let us put our hands together one more time. Are we ready? Let us put our hands together one more time and let's keep clapping, because these presenters did an amazing job today, and the jury have a tough job for the deliberations on selecting the winners. I would like to take this opportunity, and before I welcome Victoria on stage, she will give us a brief overview. We will have a panel. We can see that the stage is being set up for that. So we had interesting categories over here, and Miss Victoria, as she comes on stage, let us give her a hearty welcome onto the stage, please.
Nicola O'Trey and Matthew Mitchell to join me on stage while we unpack how deep tech innovations are solving world hunger. Do we have another mic? Oh, awesome. Thank you. Welcome, Nicola and Matthew. So let me do a proper introduction. Nicola O'Trey, an electrical engineer by trade, is a partner at Walden Catalyst, a venture capital firm helping early stage companies in the US, Europe, and Israel build the next generation of category defining businesses in deep tech. Before joining Walden Catalyst, Nicola served as managing director at Samsung Catalyst Fund and general partner at 360 Capital Partners, where he led investments in early stage deep tech startups. And his investments span a wide range of sectors, including automotive, robotics, digital health, Internet of Things, artificial intelligence, cloud infrastructure, and device level solutions. Nicola is based in Paris, France. In 2021, Nicola was recognized as a top 10 emerging leader by Global Corporate Venturing, which recognizes the industry's top 1% of investors chosen from over 2,000 corporate venturing units. So welcome, Nicola. Matthew Mitchell, he's a biochemist and an MD student, is a CTO and co-founder of Organicin Scientific. It's a biotech startup developing antimicrobial proteins called bacteriocins to treat disease, modulate microbiomes, and prevent antibiotic resistance in our food supply chain. And last year, Matthew was a winner of the Better Environment category, so it's great to get him on stage to get his thoughts on this subject. Through his work with Organicin, Matthew has become an expert in the area of biotechnology, bioproduction, and artificial intelligence and bioactive molecule discovery. So welcome, Matthew. Great. I'm going to start with Nicola, and let's define what deep tech is and how does it apply in the ag food aspect.
One, two. Yes, now. Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Great to be here. Thank you so much for the invitation. So as you mentioned, right, we're deep tech investors. So deep tech is probably a word that is a bit overused today in many startups and with many investors. The way we define it is essentially oftentimes a technology that is taken out of a lab or a research centers, and that eventually made its way to a product and then to a market. So that, let's say, the very short definition is something hard to tackle with hard science, a piece of technology that really takes a very long time to mature, that has multiple steps towards a market, and therefore takes a lot of time to hit the market. We have, different, let's say, evaluation criteria to see how a technology could be considered deep tech. Usually when we look at companies, there are some common traits. Lots of PhDs, so lots of talent and technical know-how associated with usually scientific publication and IP. So that's one way to look at it. Then, as mentioned earlier, you usually have a long time to market. It's very rare to see, a disruptive technology come out of a lab and then hit the market 3 or 6 months later. It usually takes years. Of course, you have differences between the hardware-heavy deep tech companies versus the software-heavy deep tech companies, but usually it really takes years and millions, if not tens of millions of development before you actually start seeing a market-ready product and the beginning of revenue generation. So that's a bit of a high-level definition, but so that's where we're sort of fascinated about with deep tech. These companies, these technologies are trying to solve some of the real-world challenges. Many of them, by the way, identified by by the United Nations. And when you want to solve climate change challenges, you most of the time can't really do it with software. You have to come with some real innovation, real disruptive innovation. So that's what we're excited about. And as you mentioned, we invest across US, Europe, and Israel in these types of companies.
That's great for setting the scene again. Tough tech, right? Difficult problems, but a lot of promise. So I want to go back to Matthew then. In that context, talk a little bit about what you're building and how is it enhancing global agri-food systems?
Yeah, absolutely. So speaking of deep tech, kind of what my company does is we develop antimicrobial proteins that we use to treat infections, modulate microbiomes for increased benefits to animals, plants, and what have you. Things like increased growth, increased survival of crops, as well as reducing antibiotic resistance. And so that's a very in order to go down that path, it takes a very long time. It's a lot of development. It's a lot of regulatory, and it requires a lot of manpower. And so I definitely want to echo, what we said before in terms of like deep tech. Some of this is it goes on for years before you can actually bring that product into use transitionally to actually use it in the world. So yeah.
Great. And let me stay with Matthew for a moment and talking about the environmental impact of these innovations that potentially are solving problems, but potentially could have environmental implications. How do you ensure that innovations are sustainable and do not exacerbate existing ecological issues? A top of mind issue is AI's impact on sustainability.
Yeah, absolutely. So with AI and sustainability and a lot of innovations in sustainability is, I think, what is most important is that we have a balancing act. We want to make sure that we see what our goal is at the end of the day. So things like, we want to increase productivity. We want things to be more sustainable. We want better, more nutritious foods, and we want it, just done correctly. But a lot of times with innovation, AI, for instance, requires, it promises a lot of increased productivity, which is exactly what we need, but it also draws a lot of energy and a lot of resources. And so we just want to know, or we want to ensure that going into the development of these innovations, that we have that in mind so that way we can do the tough balancing act that allows us to get what we want without causing new problems down the line. And so things like, using sustainable energy and sustainable resources for the development of these innovations is also very important.
And maybe doubling down on that, I mean, fully agree, right? So I think we've seen over the past maybe 3, 4, 5 years now, the rise of AI and plenty of, brilliant ideas and applications around AI, whether it's, AI drug discovery or translations or, tools for productivity. But as you said, these applications now are running on these gigantic data centers, consuming a ton of energy. And this is only the beginning. If you look at chips like NVIDIA's, the last generation consumes 1 kilowatt. And we know that the next one coming up is going to be twice that, 2 kilowatts per chip. And, these are tens of thousands of chips put together in one data center. So it's a huge infrastructure that consumes lots of power. You might have seen a recent announcement, I think this week, with Google, that they're investing in nuclear energy, and actually they are buying nuclear capacity next to one of the data centers. Amazon did the same last year. So very excited about the promise of AI and the potential impact on the many, but of course comes with huge responsibility when it comes to power efficiency. And so for us, it's also an area of potential innovation. We're talking about nuclear energy, so fission versus fusion. We're talking about cooling of the chips, because that's also where the power is going. So how to develop either new processing architectures are a lot more efficient, or how to develop new cooling, like liquid cooling or microfluidic cooling for the chips, to make power consumption eventually go down, because for now it has only gone up and up and up over the past decades.
Yeah, that's a real concern. Thanks for bringing that to the forefront. So I want to stay with Nicola for a moment and talking about scaling innovations. We're seeing today a lot of the early stage ideas beginning to pick up traction. So what advice would you give to these founders as they're hitting that inflection point of scaling, particularly because your background was MD with Samsung Catalyst Fund, so many of these companies are working with corporate innovation units. So best practices in navigating and working with the big elephants in the room.
Sure. So I guess, the first advice I would give would be maybe for very early stage founders. The tendency of founders or entrepreneurs with an idea is to keep it up for themselves and start working on them and keep it secret until the day where they want to go out and have this revelation moment to the market. That's something we definitely advise against, because I think nothing worse than to keep working on an idea and not discussing with potential customers or with the market, and then comes revelation day and you realize that you have worked on a great piece of technology, but there is actually no market need. So I guess the first piece of advice is go out there, share your idea, brainstorm, get feedback with prospective customers, iterate, because at the end of the day, there is no secrets. What really makes the difference, of course, is your technology, but I think more importantly, it's you as a founder. It's a people. In people make it happen. It's something, it's an inner driving force that entrepreneurs have that eventually will turn these ideas into something tangible and into something real. So go out there, share your ideas, get challenged, get feedback, iterate on your idea and develop something that eventually when you go live, there is actually people willing to try it on. That's the first one. Second one, as you eventually engage with the big corporates, so the big elephant in the room, make sure you interact with the right people. So usually all these corporates have innovation teams, which whose purpose, whose mission is to embrace external innovation, is to go out there, meet entrepreneurs, meet founders, try new technologies. So it's a great opportunity, back to my first point, to get feedback on your technology and product. The challenge you have is with these types of organizations is because they're not BU, business units related, it's going to be very hard actually to get to a contract and a real business relationship. So you'll be able to generate some revenues, you'll be able to do some POCs, you'll be able to get some feedback. But if you're looking to establish commercial relationship with big corporates, better not to talk to innovation teams or external innovation teams, but better to talk to business unit people, the ones really driving the business and the ones with the money.
That's really key, because you don't want to end up burning your resources, right? Having those endless discussions as resources are valuable as a founder. So let me go back to Matthew about mentorship. Mentorship is really important. How do you build these relationships and how do you make sure that it's a two-way street?
Yeah, absolutely. So mentorship is essential to really any successful startup. It's when you're taking on these like big global challenges and these massive problems, you're never going to be able to do everything alone, right? There are things like markets, there's regulatory, there's the actual technical development, there's the IT for your company, there's the financing, there's everything. And when you're first starting out as a founder, you have limited time, you have limited resources because you are spread kind of thin, having to do all of these different things. And mentors are kind of where that can come in, is because you can draw on their existing knowledge, their expertise, to help you and guide you using your own subject knowledge and what you specialize in towards developing solutions for your goal. And like you said, mentorship is definitely a two-way street, and so it's forming these relationships longitudinally and just reaching out to people and just being really a good social person and developing these relationships is a key area that you should definitely focus on.
And for early stage founders, for any stage founders, it's all about building relationships with venture capitalists and starting that journey. So for Nicola, for people that do not sit in major innovation hubs, so we're talking about the brilliant entrepreneurs from Global South, how should they start building that network?
So I guess, do your homework, and saying that, like that is easy. But so what founders need to understand is there are, an ocean of VC firms out there across the globe. Each VC firm has a very specific mandate and a very specific investment strategy. When I say you need to do your homework, is you need to understand in which bucket each fund belongs to. Do they invest seed stage, early stage, or growth stage? So it's going to depend then, the risk profile that they're looking for, what type of companies and which maturity they're looking for. If you're a seed stage company, don't go and waste your time talking to growth stage because they will never invest in your company. Then you need to understand also the vertical focus. Some investors are, focused on deep tech, like we are. Some others are focused on fintech. Some are focused on agri-tech. Some are focused on life science, medtech, etc. So do understand which verticals these VC firms are focusing on, and only target the ones that are quite relevant for your vertical of interest. Then the third criteria is geographic focus. My personal mandate is to look after Europe. Our fund invests across US, Europe, and Israel. If you're a US founder, don't reach out to me. Reach out to my colleagues in the US. If you're a founder in Africa or in Asia, don't reach out to us at all because we won't invest in you. We don't have a mandate to invest in these geographies. So understanding geographic focus, sector focus, maturity focus is, is for starters. Okay? Then once you've done that, you need to understand who within the organization to reach out to. My personal advice is only reach out to partner level, don't reach out to analyst level. You're going to waste your time. My second advice is reach out to the partners who do have a track record eventually investing in your category. So that, when you reach out to them, they immediately catch what you're working on, what you're about, what's your innovation, what's the disruption, what's the potential. Right? So by doing that homework, you will maximize your chances of having the right conversations with the right people and then eventually getting funded, which is what the end game is about.
That is super efficient, walking us through the playbook of 1, 2, 3s. Closing with Matthew, what did you greatly underestimate as a founder? Very quick answer.
Yeah, quick answer is just the amount of different things that you're going to get involved with and that you're going to have to learn. And just to echo kind of what was said already with the, do your homework. An hour of homework will save you, potentially 5 hours of otherwise doing work or more. And so because you're doing all these different things, your time is limited as a founder. Make sure you save it and use it wisely.
Matthew Mitchell, Nicola Trey, thank you so much for your insights. It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Welcome back, juries and the audience. So before we announce the winners, I would like to invite Mr. David Labor to share a couple of insights from the jury today.
Thank you. So it was a pleasure for me to co-chair the jury with Beth and all the members of the jury. What I can say that everyone has also done his or her homework, so we were well informed, but I want mainly to thank also all the presenters because they have helped us a lot with their clarity, with their relevance. I also want to say that we had a couple of ties, so you know it means that you have all done a great job, but at the end we have reached a consensus. It was great to see the diversity of teams, within teams, across continent and on topics, so that really was appreciated. So I'm not going to take much more time because I see that actually the jury has done great in time. So that one, at least we can be thankful for that. But now we want to see the winners. As I've said, we are not going to recognize everyone, but you have all done a great job. I also want to point that there was a lot of competition before reaching today. So everyone that has invited here is, I think, an high performance already, so you should be proud of this. And of course, we will give you a kind of token of gratitude and financial support. But really, I think use the discussion of today, use the kind of publicity we can do to what you have done to mobilize more resources. So, back to you.
Thank you, Mr. Laborde, and thank you to the jury for your thoughtful review of these startups presented today. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it is time to announce the winner of the 4 categories and recognizes the World Food Forum Startup Innovation of the Year Award. To announce the winner of the first award, Digital Innovation in Food Processing, I would like to welcome Mr. Simon Mass to the stage. A round of applause for him.
Thank you. It's great being here. I just want to say, wow. Last year I was here and we noticed that we really liked this Startup Innovation Award. And there was only one thing lacking, a special category for food processing. So I'm very proud to be here today with help of my sponsors to be here to announce this new category. And I was very pleased to see 2 very, very nice candidates here. So a round of applause for them. And then I think it's time to stop the wait. So I'm going to take a peek here and announce the winner for this year, which is Safi. So congratulations. I'm not sure how I'm going to give this to you. Probably it's like, reach out and grab it because I don't know how to do it otherwise.
I think we might have cut out. I'm not sure if I want to say anything, but thank you so much.
I hope you can hear us.
Oh, this is the worst time.
Congratulations to Safi for winning the Digital Innovation in Food Processes Award. Well done. Next, to present the winner of the Empowering Women in Agri-Food Systems Award, please welcome Ms. Reich Decker. A round of applause.
I just want to say that myself and my colleague Marco Morbidini, we were very happy to participate this year, first in evaluating all the submissions, looking where intellectual property, patents and trademarks could have an impact, and then further giving a workshop really educating the startups how they can help, how IP can help them. It was really wonderful also seeing all these new kinds of ideas that we normally don't get on our desk. So it was very inspiring to us to be part of this. So with that, not going to wait any longer. The winner for the category Empowering Women is this is not the right one.
Yeah, I noticed that, but it is Alter Carbon, but we'll swap out the the category.
Oh,
So,
okay, yes. So the winner is Altered Carbon.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations.
Okay. Congratulations. That was a mistake, yes, but we'll retract. For our Food Loss Award, please welcome Mr. Agnon Zurich to announce the winner.
Thank you very much. Where was this mix-up recently at one of the big events? Was it the Oscars? Okay, I feel a bit like at the Oscars. Anyway, well, I will announce the next winner, whoever it will be, in the next category, which I will be reminded that this is actually another one. So the food loss was previously, that was me.
Yes.
So I will be announcing a winner for
the empowering women in agri-food systems.
Excellent.
Yes.
I'm happy to do that. Before I do so, I just want to say a big thank you to our partners at FAO, of course, and also Extreme Tech Challenge for all the good work and collaboration. And this is the first time we are here. Certainly, we hope it's not the last time. In fact, we would like to very much scale this partnership going into the future and make most out of it, of course. So thank you a lot for that. And with those words, the winner for the Startup Innovation Award of the
Empowering Women Agri-Food Systems.
Empowering Women Agri-Food Systems is AgroSure.
Congratulations. And announcing the winner of the final category, Good Food for All, for today and tomorrow, please welcome Ms. Anna Yaloff.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm really excited to be here and also hear all the different initiatives that have been presented today. And again, it was a long journey since the beginning of this award. And as idea, we're very excited also with all those initiatives that have been presented. And we again, our purpose is to unlock the power of nature to enrich its life. And I see with all those, and we have been doing that for 120 years. So with this specific category, when I see good food for all for today and tomorrow, it really relates to, again, looking into the future for continuing to feed in the world. I'm very excited also to see the two different initiatives that were pre-selected, especially because both of them are looking in different ways to continue to feed the world. So for not saying more than that, I would like to announce the winner, that is Betta Fish. Very excited. Congratulations.
Congratulations. And to award the recipient of the World Fruit Farm Startup Innovation of the Year, please welcome Ms. Beth Bechtel and Ms. Victoria Slickloff.
Right. So I promise we're not going to make a slight error in this one, because this one really matters. They all matter, but this is the first time that together we've been able to actually even make what is really a fairly modest financial reward for the ultimate winner of the challenge. But we couldn't do that without the partners who are here, the sponsors who have come along with us and added themselves to this important challenge. And so I think given where we are and what we've been through, I think, Victoria, it's probably time to just say the name of the ultimate tech challenge winner.
Great, it's all
ready?
Because I don't know who that is.
Okay, I do know who it is. It's Altered Carbon.
Yeah.
Congratulations. No, congratulations. Yes, pictures. Congratulations. Would you want to say a quick word to the audience?
I didn't know there was a financial award. No, I'm just joking. This is incredible, and I'm so thankful for being here. And I really believe that we can improve life on Earth by digitizing a new sense and giving computers the sense of sense. So I'm really happy to bring this home to the team.
Great. Congratulations. Thank you so much. Victoria, thank you again for all of this support. I'll be very brief in closing. I'm not even going to bother with the teleprompter in the back of the room because I think we've had a really rich experience today, and so many of the important messages and the words of thanks to all of you who are here. All of our important partners have in so many ways already been said. But this has been such an incredible journey for us as FAO alongside XTC, and with so many entrepreneurs and startup companies and partners and judges who have gone along these last 4 years with us. And I can just say, I know people who've been here from the very beginning. I think it's with certainty we can say each and every year the competition gets tighter, the presentations get better, and I think we continue to put together a really great presentation that really lifts up the innovation, the creativity, and the direction that these amazing entrepreneurs who are so committed to achieving the sustainable development goals. That's why we're here. I've been in plenty of pitch competitions that have been peppered with the venture capital community who have admittedly a different metric, a different rubric for how they might judge your presentations today. A big component of why we're here were the categories that you were participating in. It was why you were motivated to make a difference and have an impact in the lives of so many people around the world who all of us need to be supporting. So thank you to the entrepreneurs for making impact and big delivery on big problems a really important part of your business model. That's so important today, and something that maybe has been lacking before. Too many times entrepreneurs, the private sector, get sort of put on point as being, profit motivated. It's only about the bottom line. And you and others here have shown that that's clearly not the case. And you're making these big solutions to big problems a priority for each of you. So with that, thank you, Nancy, to you, to our moderators. I don't know if I need to turn it back over to you to close.
Thank you so much, Beth. And I just want to say thank you to the FAO team. This has been a great experience. And we would like to invite all the finalists, judges, that includes the evaluation committee and the semifinals, judges to come up on stage for a group photo.
Great. And one last point for everybody. I don't have a watch. I'm not sure exactly the time, but at 4:30, we have another very important session in this very room that is a private sector discussion about the role of young people in engaging with private sector partners. So for those of you who already have seats, stay in them. But if you need to go to other events, we completely understand, but hope you can stay with us for that exciting discussion as well. Thanks, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you. That's so good. Thank you so much.
Recording stopped.